found the wallet outside.
Imagine you're walking down a busy city street, the sounds of traffic and chatter all around you, when suddenly you spot a wallet lying on the pavement. It's the kind of moment that makes you pause. What would you do? Most of us like to think we'd do the right thing, that we'd pick it up and try to return it to its rightful owner. So you pick up the wallet, maybe glancing inside to find some ID, and you go out of your way to track down the owner. When you finally hand it back, you expect a simple thank you, maybe even a smile of relief. After all, you've just saved someone a lot of trouble. But what if, instead of gratitude, you're met with suspicion? Imagine the shock of being accused of wrongdoing, of being sued for thousands of dollars, all because you tried to help. This isn't a made-up story or an urban legend. It's a real event that happened to an ordinary person, and it's a scenario that could happen to anyone. Mark, just an average guy going about his day, stumbled upon a lost wallet. He didn't hesitate. He chose to do what most people would call the right thing. But instead of being thanked, Mark found himself facing a lawsuit. The gratitude he expected was replaced by legal threats and accusations. The wallet's owner didn't see Mark as a good Samaritan. Instead, he accused Mark of stealing money from the wallet before returning it, turning a simple act of kindness into a heated confrontation. The lawsuit demanded $3,000 in damages, a staggering sum for someone who only wanted to help. Suddenly, Mark's good deed became a legal and financial nightmare. News of Mark's ordeal spread quickly, sparking outrage and debate across social media and news outlets. People everywhere began to wonder, if helping someone can land you in court, is it even worth it to do the right thing? This case didn't just affect Mark. It sent shockwaves through the community. It made people question their own willingness to help strangers, and forced everyone to confront the risks of being honest in a world where lawsuits are all too common. Mark wasn't looking for praise or recognition. He simply wanted to do what he believed was right, to act with integrity, even when no one was watching. But his act of kindness brought him nothing but stress, public scrutiny, and a drawn-out legal battle. He found himself at the center of a storm he never saw coming. The wallet's owner saw an opportunity to make an accusation, not a favor returned. Mark was painted as a thief, his intentions twisted and questioned at every turn. What started as a simple act of honesty exploded into a national debate. People argued about trust, liability, and whether our society punishes those who try to do good. In a world where kindness can be twisted into a liability, where doing the right thing might come at a personal cost, what would you do if you were in Mark's shoes? As we follow Mark's journey through this ordeal, ask yourself, would you still choose to do the right thing, even if it meant risking everything? Hey everyone, where are you watching from? Let us know in the comments below. If you're enjoying this story, please subscribe to our channel and hit the like button to support us. Your engagement helps us bring more content like this to you. Mark was walking home through a busy city street, weaving his way through the evening rush. The city was alive with the sounds of honking cars, distant music, and hurried footsteps. People brushed past him, each lost in their own world. But Mark's mind wandered as he thought about his long day at work and the comfort of home waiting for him. Suddenly, something caught his eye, a worn wallet lying abandoned on the pavement, almost hidden among the cracks and litter. He paused, uncertain. For a moment he wondered if he should just keep walking, like so many others might have. But his conscience wouldn't let him ignore it. He bent down, feeling a strange sense of responsibility. Inside, he found a driver's license, a couple of credit cards, and a small stack of cash, enough to make someone's day, or ruin it if lost. There were also a few faded receipts and a family photo, hinting at the life of the wallet's owner. Mark didn't bother to count the money. He wasn't interested in what he could gain. His only thought was to return the wallet to its rightful owner, hoping to spare them the stress and hassle of losing something so important. The address on the license was a few miles away, tucked in a neighborhood Mark had never visited before. He wondered briefly about the person who lived there. He considered dropping the wallet off at the nearest police station, letting someone else handle it. But something inside him urged him to go the extra mile, literally. He decided to return it in person, believing it was the right thing to do. Mark imagined how he'd feel if he lost his own wallet, the panic, the inconvenience, the fear of identity theft. He wanted to help directly, to offer a bit of relief to a stranger. The detour would take an extra hour out of his evening, and he'd have to navigate unfamiliar streets. But as he checked his watch and pulled up directions on his phone, he felt a sense of purpose. With the wallet safely tucked in his pocket, Mark set off toward the address, determined to do the right thing, even if it meant a longer journey home. As he walked, Mark felt a quiet satisfaction. He wasn't expecting any reward or recognition, just the knowledge that he was helping someone in need was enough. What Mark didn't know was that this small act of kindness would soon spiral into something much bigger than he could have imagined, pulling him into a situation he never expected. Sometimes, the road to trouble is paved with good intentions, and even the simplest choices can lead to unforeseen consequences. Mark's good deed was about to be put to the test, and the night was far from over. Mark arrived at a modest house and rang the doorbell. The woman who answered matched the photo on the license. Her relief was immediate. "Thank you so much, I've been searching everywhere," she said, checking the wallet's contents. Mark smiled, happy to help. "I'm just glad I could return it." There was no reward, but her gratitude seemed genuine. Mark left, feeling lighter, believing he'd done the right thing. He thought the story was over, a simple act of kindness, a happy ending. But the calm was deceptive. Mark would soon learn that even the best intentions can have unexpected consequences. The porch exchange was just the beginning. Sometimes a good deed is only the first chapter in a much bigger story. Mark's relief was short-lived. The real ordeal was about to begin. 2 weeks later, Mark received a certified letter from a law firm. Inside was a legal summons. Sarah, the wallet's owner, was suing him. She claimed the wallet had contained $3,000 in cash, now missing. The lawsuit accused Mark of theft and demanded repayment plus legal fees. Sarah used her own vague social media post as evidence of the missing money. Mark was stunned. He remembered only a small amount of cash. Was this a scam or a genuine mistake? Either way, Mark was trapped in a legal nightmare. It was his word against hers, with no proof on either side. His good deed had become a costly, humiliating battle. The world suddenly felt colder, and Mark's trust in people was shaken. Sometimes honesty comes with a price. Mark's nightmare was just beginning. Mark's sister urged him to share his story online for advice and support. He posted the details on Reddit's r/legaladvice, attaching the summons and asking, "What do I do now?" The post went viral. Hashtags like Good Samaritan sued trended, and people rallied behind Mark. Internet sleuths found Sarah's original post, casting doubt on her claim. Memes and jokes spread, reflecting public outrage and disbelief. News outlets picked up the story, and Mark became a reluctant symbol of the risks of doing good. Supporters started a crowdfunding campaign for his legal fees, quickly surpassing its goal. The internet was on Mark's side, but the real battle was still in court. Online support was comforting, but it couldn't decide the outcome. Mark still had to face his accuser in front of a judge. Mark's ordeal isn't unique. Other lost property cases have spiraled into legal chaos. In Winnipeg, a lost wallet led to a multi-million-dollar lottery dispute between exes. In Florida, a man sued for hundreds of millions over a lost Bitcoin hard drive, only to lose due to lack of evidence. In Wales, James Howells has spent years fighting to dig up a landfill for a hard drive with a fortune in Bitcoin. These stories show how a simple loss can trigger lawsuits, betrayals, and public drama. The risks of helping or losing can be enormous. Mark's story is just one example of how good intentions can lead to legal nightmares. What are your legal obligations if you find lost property? Laws vary, but generally, you must try to return lost items to their owner. Good Samaritan laws protect people helping in emergencies, not property disputes. There's no law shielding you from lawsuits if the owner claims something is missing. In court, the owner must prove what was lost, and the finder must defend their honesty. It often comes down to credibility. Who does the judge believe? Mark's case exposed this legal gray area. Anyone returning lost property could face similar accusations. The law offers little protection for honest finders. Mark's ordeal became a national conversation about trust and risk. The day of the hearing arrived, small claims court, but for Mark, the stakes felt enormous. The courthouse buzzed with tension, and every step he took inside felt heavier than the last. He knew that, even though the case was technically minor, the outcome could change his life and reputation. Sarah's lawyer presented her case with confidence, arguing that Sarah had lost $3,000. She even brought up a social media post Sarah had made, using it as evidence to support her claim. The post had already stirred up public opinion, making the courtroom feel even more charged. Sarah, visibly upset, insisted she just wanted what was rightfully hers. Her voice trembled as she described her loss, and she looked to the judge for understanding, hoping for justice in her favor. Mark's lawyer responded by calmly pointing out the lack of concrete proof. There was no bank slip, no receipt, and no real evidence that the money had ever been in the wallet. The argument was clear. Suspicion alone wasn't enough. When it was Mark's turn to speak, he testified with quiet conviction. "I returned the wallet because it was the right thing to do," he said, his voice steady. He explained how he found the wallet and never saw any cash inside. The judge listened carefully, reviewed the evidence, and after a brief pause, swiftly dismissed the case. The courtroom fell silent as her decision echoed through the room. She explained that Sarah's belief, while sincere, wasn't enough to prove theft. The judge also warned against filing lawsuits that could punish Good Samaritans, reminding everyone that the law protects those who act with honesty. Mark was vindicated. Justice, at least in the courtroom, had prevailed. The public cheered the verdict, but for Mark, the experience left a lasting mark. He felt both relief and exhaustion, knowing how close he'd come to being misunderstood. News of the case spread quickly, becoming a cautionary tale for anyone tempted to help a stranger. The headlines sparked debates about trust, honesty, and the risks of doing the right thing. Sometimes doing good means taking a risk. The fear of being accused or misunderstood can make even the kindest person hesitate. Mark's relief was real, but so was the lesson he carried with him. He realized that integrity can come at a cost, but it's a price worth paying. The legal system had spoken, but outside the courtroom, the debate about justice, trust, and doing the right thing continued to ripple through the community. With the lawsuit dismissed, Mark was free, and a hero in the public eye. But his story raised a troubling question. Will fear of lawsuits stop people from helping others? The phrase, "no good deed goes unpunished," felt more real than ever. Would you pick up a lost wallet now, or walk away? Some might only turn it into the police, avoiding personal risk. This is the chilling effect, when fear stops kindness. Mark's case forced a national conversation about trust, risk, and the future of the Good Samaritan. Are we becoming a society afraid to help? The answer shapes our communities and our values. Mark's story ended with justice, but the warning remains. Be kind, but be aware. Sometimes doing the right thing takes courage. What would you do? That question defines us all.